What are you doing? Remember that intro, everybody? I decided to resurrect it. So thanks to the society page who made that for me. It's back. I love it. I love the music. I love the visuals. I love everything about it. And here I am back in my space. So here we are. How's everybody doing? Welcome to Tuesday morning coffee talk. Hope your week's going well. I'm going to give you an update on. You might be hearing Mr. in the background, by the way. He's playing AKA at war with his bed again. He's either fighting with his bed or sleeping in it. So sounds kind of familiar sometimes, nights of insomnia. So, okay, I want to give you an update on the movie we saw last night at the Mystery Movie. Love it. It was Dead of Winter with Emma Thompson. Let me show you her picture. That's Emma Thompson. She's amazing in it. And she's got like a Frances McDormand vibe, and that like I'm not going to do anything to alter my appearance as it is right now. And she looks very earthy and rugged, and that's her character. It was good, you guys. I was hoping that's what it was, and that's what people were guessing on the Reddit thread, so they got it right. And we saw some other interesting, which I can't remember right now, previews, but trailers. But this one was good. It's a, kind of edge of your seat survival kind of thing, but the hero is a aging woman, and but it's also weaving in elements of grieving and, well, that's central to the story. And all the characters, unlike I know I keep going back to this Black Rabbit, but we just finished it, so, unlike that, they really handled the time jumping back in time segments well. They were choreographed well, so it told the story. The story unfolded, so you're sort of guessing about some things. There were like a lot of unusual things, but we talked about it the whole way home. And after we got home, why it was so much better than the other one, than Black Rabbit, and just in terms of the storytelling. And part of it was that just the way they made certain things surprises, so they kept you guessing, but not like, well, what was that all about? But it's just never resolved, or you never quite get the answer to that. You're just supposed to like accept it at face value. Even though some things are like way out there, you can suspend your disbelief and think that they're sort of plausible. But it's a satisfying story. It has a lot of sadness in it just because it has this grieving element. It makes you appreciate your relationship, made me really appreciate my husband. By the end of the movie, I was like clinging to him in the seat, cuddling with him, just out of that reason. And anyway, so I recommend it. It's sort of, I think it's listed as a thriller, but it's like a survival. It's like gritty. I'm trying to think if there's something I could compare it to. Shoot, he said it kind of feels like a Coen Brothers movie in a way. It's got a kind of a criminal element. Oh, the other thing I was going to say is that unlike Black Rabbit, who like almost nobody is likable, like it's hard to root for anybody, this one, even the bad guys, once you get more of the backstory, hey, he's doing his. Where's your toy? Where's your toy? Hang on. Even the bad guys. Here, go get it. You kind of understand them. You don't hate them. Because you get more of their backstory, unlike Black Rabbit, even the good guys. You even get their backstory and you don't care. So somebody wants to play with me. Here, go get this. Go get it. So I recommend it. I hope it does well. I thought her performance was amazing. And like I said, to have an aging woman be the hero of the whole story, and the perseverance, resilience, all those kind of themes. So I think it was good. Afterwards, I think I said yesterday I am planning on making these blueberry yogurt frozen things for him. So I'd ordered these things at Walmart. And I'm going to tell you how like Adelson weaves into this thing, this part of the story. What are you barking? He's barking at Wendy Adelson's book. I wish you guys could see it. I have it sitting on a table next to this, and he's barking at that freaking book. Oh my God, Beasley. I know, it's terrible. Here. So we go to pick up these molds afterwards. We do the Walmart pickup thing. I really do not like going into the store. And so, it's later in the evening too. And so we go to pick them up, and then we make one other stop. John runs in to get something else. And I stayed in the car. Well, I go to look at these things, and they're these silicone molds. And I realize I ordered 2, but they gave me 4 because they were smushed together. And so it seemed when they pulled them off the thing, it seemed like it was 1, but it was actually 2 that were stuck together. So they gave me 2 sets of 2. So I'm like, oh, dang it, and John comes out and he just looks at me and goes, Karma, you got to return those. Well, then on our drive home, I realized I actually want to use them. So, but, I start thinking about the Honest Abe thing, right, with Robert Adelson, about how, and we talked about this, about how, he was over refunded for something, and then he goes back to the family, and they ridicule him for wanting to give back the extra change that he was given. And then they call him Honest Abe, but it's a slanderous name. It's not a compliment. They give him that nickname because he's too honest, because they think he's just stupid that he would do that. And we were talking about that. Like, imagine growing up in a family where you are ridiculed for doing the right thing and still hanging on to your principles in a family where you're praised for doing the wrong thing. You're praised for getting over, Anyway, a group of us have been watching this Guilty Words thing about Wendy's book, and that's in there too. There's some sort of, well, to use Robert Adelson's word, glee in this, like, getting over on people, getting, on good people, like getting something, it's like there's a sadistic element in this family. But anyway, so my husband's like, you can't just keep those. Well, then I realize I just hate going into Walmart. I really do. I have to get my prescriptions and then I have to go in for that, but I really do not like it. So I'm like, you know what? They have a chat feature. So this morning I just said, I'm going to keep them, but I want to pay for them. I mean, they're only like $3 each, but I'm, can I just do that online and pay the difference? So I get on this chat feature, and basically they told me you can keep them and we don't have a mechanism for you to pay for them. So just keep them. So at least I resolved that, that I didn't just keep it, that was their decision that I can keep it and, not have to pay the difference. It's like $6, but still, it's doing the right thing. And as my husband said, he's like, you can't just keep those because like karma. So yeah, Robert Adelson has had an effect on me in that way, even in a small way, in a $6 way, to do the right thing, be the right person. So the other thing I want to tell you, and he is being a little rambunctious, so I'm not going to stay on here very long. But the other thing that I wanted to tell you about is this documentary I started watching while I was folding laundry yesterday called Thirst Trap. It's on Paramount Plus, and it's about this kid on TikTok. He's in the early 20s. And I had seen him before because it's like this close-up of this like beautiful young man's face lip singing to Barry Manilow's Mandy. And so I had seen it before and just scrolled past it. I mean, it wasn't anything. I wasn't following him or anything. But I just thought that's kind of funny, like he's like, how's that guy gotten into that music? Sit. Good boy. Well, apparently this was a whole descent into hell for this young man, because a group of middle-aged women have developed an obsession with him and objectifying this young man. It's creepy. It's very creepy. And how just this whole phenomenon of people going after people on the internet, ask me how I know that one, and how it's just, we haven't caught up with consequences for this obsessive stalking kind of behavior, because it's sort of like burdened onto if you're going to put yourself out there, you have to accept this. It's a bit like if you're going to wear a short skirt, expect that, it's your fault. There's a bit of that and I think our culture will catch up to this, but like this, it's just interesting. I haven't finished it and I wasn't paying perfect attention to it because I was coming and going out of the room and whatnot, but I want to watch it again. So maybe we'll do if you want to watch that, we could do like a little talking about that. Because I really do think there's this cultural phenomenon right now that we've accepted as normal because we just don't really have mechanisms. Hey, sit. We don't really have mechanisms to deal with it. And the mechanisms that are there are not enforced. Like, YouTube, whatever, I guess TikTok have these policies, but they're not enforcing them. So they're sort of encouraging this stalking, cyber stalking behavior. Yeah. And so, don't expect to be protected. So, I mean, I was just left thinking, you got to go into this knowing that it's an unsafe environment because nobody is, if there are policies in place, nobody is enforcing them unless you're the New York Times who writes a story like they did on Sid Toll, who has been majorly harassed and abused, a young woman with cancer on TikTok. The whole Reddit thing, they love to thrive over there on Reddit because Reddit is like the worst cesspool of allowing that stalking behavior. And how they cross over into people's real lives. It's scary, I've been on the receiving end of it. It is scary. And, managing that culturally, I mean, I know how I've managed it, which is to just sever myself from that. But at a cost, to me. But because you cannot rely on any protection elsewhere. Even if you were to get a lawyer, to what end, And so some words came to me kind of fairly recently about, pursue, let's say you would pursue damages over that kind of behavior, over being stalked and harassed in anywhere of your life. Sit. Being stalked and harassed by my dog right now. You pursue a lawyer to go for damages, but even that is opening yourself up to that cesspool and creating more damage to yourself. So it's a kind of a no-win situation. And then anyway, it's a whole discussion to have maybe another time, but it's touched on in this thirst trap thing. But anyway, the note I want to leave you on, and then I need to deal with Mr. stalking and harassing me in my own house for snacks, is that instead of pursuing damages, pursue becoming a person who is not damaged by this. But it's kind of up to you to figure that out. It's up to the person who's on the receiving end, who's being targeted, to figure out how to not become damaged by that. And if anybody out there is watching who has, also been targeted and trying to wind your way through that, there's one answer alone: sever contact and sever accessibility to you the best way that you can. And that involves blocking yourself from accessing. You might be curious about what is being said about you, what the latest lies that are being said about you in the world. It's a natural thing to be curious. Put your curiosity into other more fruitful endeavors. There's a lot of things in this world to be curious about. That one is toxic. And sit. And I'm going to leave you on this note. Just because you're curious about what a poisonous mushroom might do to your body that is poisonous, if you taste it, sit, good boy. Just because you're curious about like the effect that might have on you, don't taste it. Especially if you already know that it's poisonous. Or maybe if you question it might be poisonous, it's not worth it to allow your curiosity to reign in that kind of situation. You close the door, you turn away from the mushroom, and you put your curiosity into something else like, I want to try this recipe, or I want to see if I can grow this flower. I'm just thinking about things from my life. Or, try this new project. Let me see if I can try this, see if I can do this myself. Like I'm into one right now of like these rechargeable bulbs. If we can make lamps, reading lamps. We don't have good reading light in our bedroom. And I found on one of these people that I follow on Instagram that you can get these rechargeable bulbs. So you could just basically stick a lighting fixture on the wall that doesn't need to be hardwired or plugged in. Sit, 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 sit. Good boy. And then just put a rechargeable bulb in it with a remote and a dimmer on the remote. So isn't that ingenious? So like get curious about things that are new, that are adding something to your life, not about things that are toxic. You don't need to know anything more about those things. So anyway, if you want to like maybe talk about this documentary, sit, sit, sit. Good boy. Take a look at it. Tell me what you think. All right, I've got to go attend to this dog because Mr. Beasley is definitely rambunctious this morning and wants some attention. So we need to go do something, don't we? You never know. Puppydom. All right. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday, and I will catch you next time. But yeah, Dead of Winter. It's a good movie. All right. Catch you again. Bye.